Well, hello. I want to talk to you today about the Kaweco Al Sport, or Kaweco, if we pronounce it in German. The Kaweco Al Sport is an aluminum pen. I bought mine with a special finish. I guess they called it a blue jeans finish. It's a blue finish, but then they put it in some kind of a tumbler with sand to give it a very worn appearance. So like it's been living for years inside my pocket, even though it really hasn't. Now the pen does come with a clip that you can purchase separately. It's not included with the pen. I'll just show you here on my Kaweco Sport. That's on there tight, so I won't pull it off. But anyway, it just goes on over top. I decided I like this pen without it. It comes in silver, brass, and some other color. I'll point out one other fun feature. In my Kaweco Sport, I was able to put the Kaweco plunge converter. In this Kaweco Al Sport, no such luck. It doesn't fit. So I'm stuck with their stupid little squeeze converter. And I said that. I said stupid little squeeze converter because I hate this thing. But I'm learning to work with it. The other converter there, the plunge converter, is just too long to fit inside the barrel. Other people have said yes, it does fit. Well, my experience is no, it doesn't. So take that for what it's worth. One other neat thing before I set this Kaweco Sport aside, I don't know what this means, but I have noticed, oh golly, boy, two black feeds, it's hard to tell. I have noticed that the feed has changed since I bought my Kaweco Sport. All my newer Kaweco pens have the newer feed with the fins on it. The Kaweco Sport, which I bought several years ago, does not. So, yeah, there's that. All right, so let's talk about the Kaweco Al Sport. It is aluminum. You pay a little bit more for that. You pay a little bit more for this worn-out finish. So it is a pocket pen. I decided, like I said, not to use the clip. I did buy a clip. It does fit, but I just decided I like this pen better without it. So it's a Kaweco. I bought the medium nib. I'm using Diatrementa's Blackberry ink, which may not have been the best ink for this paper because it seems to really want to feather, but so be it. As a pocket pen, it is very short. I'll just give you a quick preview here. Next to, say, a noodler's pen, but then you post it, and it's a pretty respectable length. You know, not a huge Gigantor pen. Some people like their Gigantor pens. But compare it to the Kaweco, or I'm sorry, to the Noodlers, which I usually write with unposted anyway, that's not bad. It's actually not bad for long writing sessions. There's other pens I like better, but, you know, I took this one, excuse me, to some classes I was taking up in Dickinson and took notes with it all day, and it was just fine. So let's do the word flex. Not a lot of line variation with this pen, but I'll just say Diatrementa's Blackberry smells amazing. And when it's wet, it actually looks like blackberry juice. Smear test. Look at that, very wet. You know, my Kaweco Sport is kind of on the dry side. This guy is so not dry. I love writing with this thing. So, continuous flow. When we write in reverse, I have a fine pen and it's very smooth. I don't advise writing in reverse, although I have no reason to say that. But look at that. That is definitely a fine. So very impressive that way. Now, before I get into my quote, I'll just talk, would I buy it again? Is it worth it? And all that kind of thing. Well, no, it's really not worth it. You pay a premium for this finish, and it's, you know, it's pretty, but honestly, there's no way to justify it. The plastic pen, the regular Sport, has exactly the same nib on it. Or you could go crazy and get a Skyliner, which I'll be reviewing in a few weeks. Same nib and feed. So there's no reason to go for the aluminum or for the premium to get the worn out finish. But it does look cool. So that's why I bought it. So let's do our writing sample, because it is a good writer, and ultimately that's what using the fountain pen is all about. How well does it write? So let's see, I used that quote before. I'm getting smart, I'm actually crossing them out, so let's see here. And as you can see, it wrote very nicely. There were no skips, no problems at all. So I absolutely love Kaweco. Through this past year, I bought several of their older pens and several more of their newer pens. They're great pocket pens. So yeah, decent sized pen and fun to write with. And it fits right in your pocket. And you know, this one I'd hate to lose, but the Kaweco Sport, if I were to drop my Kaweco Sport somewhere, it's cheap enough, I'll just replace it. Now my complaint, I wish the plunge converter fit in here. Even more than that, I would love this pen if it had a piston, and I know Kaweco can do it because I own 2 vintage Kaweco pens with piston converters. Or I'm sorry, with pistons. And one is about this size, although oh no, here he is. My 1930s pen, we'll just put it under the camera here. You put them the same. My 1930s pen is only about maybe a 1/4 inch longer uncapped. Let's look at their bodies. Uncapped, not even a 1/4 inch longer. And posted, whoops, wrong side. Posted, pretty close, about maybe 3/8 to a 1/2 inch longer. So if they could do it in the 1930s, why can't they do it now? I will just give you a little advice if you are using this aerometric converter. Now, I always like to write them down before I do my reviews, so this is a little bit empty. But what you do is you fill it as much as you can, turn the pen upside down, and then squeeze the converter just barely until ink starts to come out of the fins and the nib. And then holding it, turn it back upside down, put it in an ink bottle, release, and let it fill some more. And you can get it filled almost to the top that way, but it is a messier process. And it's just like, why do I have to do that when there are perfectly good converters that work? So something for Kaweco to work on for the future. So would I buy this pen again? Yep. But it's not worth it because it costs too much. So I would, if you're interested in more reviews of pens from a North Dakota perspective, I'd invite you to subscribe below, and we'll talk to you later.